Let's go a little bit deeper on that one. Here is another truth, and this one is also really hard to hear. But if you are not willing to do what it takes to get out of it, it is not important enough for you. Welcome to the Sacred Living Podcast. I'm your host, Leonie Dutoy, an expert in awareness and intuition. As a transformational coach, spiritual teacher, and healer, my mission is to help 1 million people tap into their own inner power. Join me on the sacred journey as we explore the tools and modalities that guide us through awakening, healing, and growth. In each episode, we'll delve into the spiritual foundations, inner work, and the path to awakening abundance. Discover how your spirit senses, awareness, and intuition can help you cut through the confusion of waking up, navigating the overwhelming amount of information out there, and bring clarity, ease, and purpose into your life. Let me bring you the tools, techniques, and guidance to support you on your own spiritual journey. Let's walk this beautiful and sacred path together. Hello, beautiful soul. I trust you're doing well. I want to touch on 5 points today to help people who feel stuck, people who are just stuck on this hamster wheel, stuck in a cycle, feeling frustrated because they're not moving forward. I want to touch on 5 points that I sat with the other day, and I feel like, first of all, it will definitely help if you implement these 5 steps or points into your life and kind of start paying attention to them. But also I want you to pay very, very close attention to what comes up for you as I go through these, because guaranteed it is going to bring up something in you that you can look at. This conversation is going to trigger. That's the word that most people use. I like to use activate. So this conversation is going to activate something in probably most of you guys who I'm listening, who is listening to me right now talking. So it is going to activate something so deep inside of you when I run through these 5 little touch points or tips or steps. So I want you to take the time to sit with this conversation, sit with this podcast, maybe grab a piece of paper or a journal and jot down, pay attention to what is coming up for you during this podcast, okay? Use this podcast as a gift. A gift, because when we are activated, it is a gift from the universe, from our soul, from our body that tells us where we need to pay attention, where we are still stuck, where we still have limiting beliefs, where we hold judgment. Okay, that's another one that will come up in here. So pay attention. As I go through these, sit in awareness. If you can create space, create the time to sit and just listen. And if I say something and something comes up, press pause, write it down, feel into it. Okay, in that moment, ask yourself, why is this coming up for me? What is my judgment around this? Why do I disagree with what Leonie is saying right now? Because yes, maybe you disagree, but within that disagreement, you could potentially be covering something up. So pay attention, sit in awareness, and just feel into and use this as one of those podcasts that you could potentially save and listen to again and again and again, and it will just uncover layer after layer after layer for you. All right, so here we go. The first thing that I wanted to say is if you are feeling stuck, if you are like feel like you are in a loop, you don't know what to do next, like you're not happy with your life, you're not happy with your career, you're not happy with relationships, you're not happy with your finances, you're not happy with the way your business is going, perhaps you're struggling as an entrepreneur to get your business up and running. If you are feeling stuck and it feels like just it's heavy and it's just like life is just like, what is going on? Remember that every day is a choice. Every moment is a choice. Every second is a choice. So whatever is happening for you in your life, whatever is going on for you, remember that you choose to perpetuate that cycle by the choices that you make. Okay? You are choosing the frequency that you are sitting in right now. Now, remember I said if you feel triggered, you need to sit with it. Now, unless you are in jail and you cannot get out of jail because you're in there, that is the choice that you made, and that's the environment that you're in. But if you are out in the world with the rest of us, you choose to wake up in the morning and you choose the thoughts that you think. You then choose to go brush your teeth. You choose to get in the car and drive to a job that is just doesn't fill you with joy. Okay? You choose that. You choose to stay in a relationship that doesn't serve you, that doesn't feel good anymore. You choose everything in your life. Okay? You have to realize that. And people are going to argue with me and they go, I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. I have gone through a lot of struggle in my life. I've come through a lot. And I can tell you now that you choose every moment of the day. So sit with that. The second thing that I want to touch on is awareness. Your life will change in incredible ways the moment you start paying attention to your thoughts. So bringing awareness into your day. And one of the ways that I teach my students in the Sacred Living Academy is to start paying attention to the very first thought that pops into your head when you wake up. Just that practice, just becoming aware of those first thoughts when you wake up will start making a difference in your life. It will start helping you choose better thoughts and then you choose better actions. It's got this flow on effect, right? It's like dropping a pebble in a pond and it ripples out into your life, right? That's the same with awareness. When you bring awareness into your day from the very first breath from the very first moment you open up your eyes, okay, you are going to see where you need to start choosing better thoughts and choosing different actions. But awareness is the one thing that you need to bring in that will drastically change your life. We're going into the last week of Sacred Beginnings. It's a 3-month program, and the very first module that we do in Sacred Beginnings is awareness. And from that moment on, awareness runs through everything that we do. Every module that we do within Sacred Beginnings has awareness as the foundation, and it has awareness as the filter or the lens that we look through. Because without awareness, you're on autopilot. The moment you start bringing awareness into your life, you will start seeing the things that you need to see, and you can make the changes that you need to make. I can tell you from watching my students go from week 1 to where we are now in week 12, going into week 12, you can clearly see the shift that awareness has brought for them. That heightened awareness has changed their lives in ways that they could not even begin to imagine 3 months ago. So awareness truly is something that will change the way you live and the way that you make decisions in your life and the way that you move forward. If you want to dive into awareness, I've got a free PDF on awakening awareness in my library within the Sacred Living Academy. All you need to do is click on the link. I'll put the show notes. I'll put it in the show notes for you. Click on the link. It's going to ask you to sign up. Okay, this is just going to give you access to the members area. And then in the library, you'll find Awakening Awareness. It's a PDF. And within that PDF, I have my 5 ways to build awareness. So 5 little exercises to help you build awareness. I've also got a sacred awareness breath exercise in there that will help you build awareness, that will help you come back into your body when you feel like you are feeling anxious or you are stressed or you just feel ungrounded. Okay. The other thing that's in there is a 30-day awareness accelerator. It's journal prompts for 30 days that you can sit with. And I guarantee you this truly is going to accelerate your awareness. So if you want that free PDF, click on the link in the show notes. It will be under leoniedutoy.com. And you'll find at the bottom of the page, there will be the freebie library with some of the freebies that we have there. Click on one of those. It will take you through to sign up, and then you'll have access to the freebie library where you'll find more than just the Awakening Awareness PDF. The next thing that I want to bring in, so this is point number 3, is intuition. Okay, awareness and intuition are 2 spirit senses. Okay, so this is my thought. This is my thing. Awareness and intuition are 2 spirit senses, and we are all born with it, and we all need to use it in order to live a full and happy life. Awareness will allow you to recognize your intuition and the intuitive hits that you receive, that you get during the day, and the guidance, because your intuition is your guidance, okay? Now, if you're listening to the podcast and for some reason you've come to the podcast, but you're not fully into the whole spiritual thing and it feels a little bit woo-woo for you, then your gut. It is that gut feeling. It is that sense, that knowing, just that, that thought that pops into your head. That is what intuition is. It's just a different way of saying it. It's like saying potato. It's the same thing, gut, intuition. It's exactly the same thing. You are just giving it a different word to describe that feeling. Now, intuition is a thought that pops into your head really quickly. Now, this is something that you have to also, it's a muscle that needs to get exercised, and there are steps to learn how to recognize it, and there are also steps to learn how to build trust with your intuition. You have to build up this muscle, but with awareness, you can recognize the intuition. And then when you receive that intuitive hit, you need to stay in awareness so that you can receive the next intuitive hit, the next guidance, the next gut feeling. Okay? Now, if you don't know how to recognize your intuition, I'll run through it very quickly over here, but you can also go and download and watch a video in the freebie library that I just spoke about on intuition, on how to recognize it, and also how to build trust with your intuition. So how do you recognize your intuition? So your intuition, that inner voice, that guidance, drops into your head really quickly. Within maybe 1 or 2 split seconds, it's going to drop into your head, and it's going to sound like your own thoughts. So if I say, think of the word orange, or think of the word lemon, okay? The way that thought pops into your head, the way that you think that thought, that's exactly what it sounds like. doesn't sound like anybody else's voice. It's not something weird and woo-woo. It is literally just a thought that pops into your head within 1 or 2, at the most 3 split seconds. Because after that third second, what's going to happen is your subconscious mind is going to kick in and it is going to want to keep you safe. So if that intuitive hit, if that gut feeling is outside of what feels comfortable and safe to you, your mind is going to start talking you out of it. That's when you start getting thoughts like, well, that was a silly thought, or that was weird, or that could never be, or, you're fooling yourself, or you're just imagining things. So this is where the exercise comes in. So when that thought pops into your head, you need to recognize it really, really quickly. And you need to acknowledge it. Now, I've got an exercise that is perfect for this, and it's called the traffic light game. And the way you play this, so if you haven't heard this on my previous podcasts, the way that you play this game is when you're driving in your car and you stop at a traffic light, I want you to start expecting a number to drop into your head. Now, that is us expecting guidance. It's us expecting that gut feeling or that intuitive hit to come in. So you stop at the traffic light, you expect a number to drop into your head. So when you're driving up, you stop, a number drops into your head. Now, once that number drops into your head, you need to acknowledge it. You need to go, yep, I know, that's the number, right? So then let's say you stop, the number 5 drops into your head. You acknowledge it by counting backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you get to 1 or 0, the light will change to green for you to go. When that happens, when you get to 1 or 0, when that happens, I want you to smile, to say, yes, just my luck, or I want you to celebrate in some way to acknowledge that it is good to trust your intuition. And then you go, you take the action and you go. Now, sometimes we are out of alignment and it's not going to happen. So don't just put your foot down, right? You want to pay attention, but use this little exercise to help you build trust with that inner voice. So if you want to know more about the steps of how to trust or how to recognize your intuition and build trust with your intuition, go over to, you can go to the show notes and click on the link, or you can just go to sacredlivingacademy.com or leoniedutoy.com, and it's all there for you. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the free resources, right? So that's intuition. Intuition and awareness, those two together has this beautiful dance, and it will 100% change your life. Now, the next point 4, is definitely going to be one of those points. If you have not been activated up to this point, this will more than likely activate most people who listen to this podcast. So I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off here, and I'm going to say, if you are feeling stuck, if you've got things that are not working in your life, how are you choosing it? Yep. How are you choosing it? Okay, because every day is a choice. We choose to stay on the hamster wheel. We choose to stay in that relationship that is perhaps abusive or not good for us. We choose to stay in a career that just is mind-numbing. We choose to, as entrepreneurs, stay busy with trivial and stupid things when we could put in 2 or 3 really focused hours of work on the things that we must do in our business. That busyness that we have as entrepreneurs, that is a coping mechanism. That is a way of hiding the work that we need to do. It's stopping us from it's stopping us from really getting out there and doing. So it could be a fear of becoming known, because if your business takes off and you become famous, it means that you are seen. Right? So there could be a fear of being seen. And the way that you stop yourself from becoming seen and becoming famous and really accelerating in your business is by doing the little stupid things to keep yourself from achieving being seen and achieving greatness in your business. So it is really a choice. There are layers to all of this. So if you are in your stuckness, the first question you want to ask yourself is, how am I choosing this? The second question you can ask yourself in your stuckness is, how am I benefiting from this? Yes, we benefit from those cycles that we keep ourselves in. So as an example, staying in a broken relationship can sometimes serve as a distraction from confronting the personal issues or fears, right? So focusing on fixing the relationship keeps us busy, but it deflects attention from the inner healing that needs to occur for us to then step out of the relationship, to set the boundaries, right? It's difficult to do that. So we get ourselves stuck in this loop, and the benefit is that it's the devil, right? It is that thing that you can expect it. The sun comes up and the sun goes down, and that's what's going to happen. In that abusive relationship, you know what's going to happen. You know exactly how to handle them. You know exactly what to say to stay safe in some way, shape, or form. Stepping out of that relationship, going into the world where you don't know where you're going to go. You don't know who's going to support you. You don't know how you're going to find your feet. That is the comfort in. It's stopping you from going out there. It's uncomfortable stepping out. And that's the benefit of staying in that abusive relationship, right? So take that question. How are you benefiting from the situation that you are in? How are you benefiting from keeping yourself sick? Okay, now again, that's going to trigger some people. It's going to definitely activate some people. But for the majority of us, how are you choosing to stay sick in order to, how is that benefiting you? Are you getting sympathy from people? Are you getting attention from people? Okay, maybe you're getting payments by keeping yourself sick. So it means that you don't have to go to work, but it also means that you're never going to move forward in your life. So there's a benefit. Find that benefit. And it is really uncomfortable to look at this, and it is really hard, and it can be very, very activating, but sit with it. Ask yourself, am I benefiting from staying in this situation? The other thing is that you need to realize that when you're in this situation, nobody is going to come and save you. You have to make the choice to get out of it. You have to bring the awareness. You have to take the action. You have to ask for help. How many people are out there and they don't ask for help because their pride and their ego is in the way? Ask for help. You know, there were times in my life where I was so stuck and I was in so much trouble and I didn't ask. And only later in my life, when I started asking for help and support, did I realize I unnecessarily stayed stuck in those things where I could have just asked for help. I could have just reached out. Ask for help if you're feeling stuck. Ask for help if you don't know how to move out of your stuff. Let's go a little bit deeper on that one. Here is another truth, and this one is also really hard to hear. But if you are not willing to do what it takes to get out of it, it is not important enough for you. Listen, again, I'm going to say this again. If you are not willing to do what it takes, it is not important enough. And I'll give you an example. So a few years ago, I had a lady reach out to me because she was drawn to work with me as her coach one-on-one. So we had the conversation, and then when it came to the time where I shared with her what the investment would be to work with me over 3 months, she was hesitant and she said that she didn't have the money. And I was like, that's not a problem. I said, but I want to just put something out there for you that there are ways to get the money if it was really important for you to actually do the work. Okay, so one of the suggestions that I did and said to her that this is what I've done in my life as well was to look around the house and find the things that you don't use that you can perhaps sell on Gumtree or in, one of the places where you can sell secondhand stuff, and you can use that money to then invest in yourself. And I didn't know, but she took great offense to me suggesting that I'm telling her that she needs to sell her stuff in order to pay me. So that was very telling of what was going on for her and the filters that she was listening and perceiving that conversation through. Because later on, I heard that she was very offended. How could I tell her to sell her stuff to give me money? And what she didn't realize and what she didn't hear in that moment was that I was saying to her that if you really wanted this, you would do the thing that will get you there. Now, if this is not just me, so I'm going to quote a few different examples of really well-known people that we know, like, and trust, who have done exactly that, to give you an example. So it's not just me. And I can tell you that when I was back in the days when I couldn't pay for coaches and I couldn't pay for courses, I sold stuff to get the help that I needed, to sign up for the course that I wanted or needed to get me ahead in life. Tony Robbins, most people know who he is. So before he achieved fame, he sold his car and other belongings to invest in seminars and coaching programs. So he took the step that he knew that he needed to do to get ahead. He was willing to do the hard things to get him ahead in life. Marie Forleo, so she's also an entrepreneur and a motivational speaker, and she was faced with financial difficulties early on in her career. And to get to work with coaches and get ahead in life, she also sold her belongings and she moved back in with her parents temporarily to support her, so that she had the finances and she had the money to get the coaches and to get the people and to work with people who were going to further her in her career. Another person is Brandon Bouchard. We know these people. He's a high-performance coach and an author. He sold his car so that he can get ahead in life. So what are you willing to do to get the help that you need? Because if you're not willing to perhaps sell your car or perhaps look through all the stuff that you have at home and sell it to get the money to help you get the coach or the healer or the teacher or the help that you need, it is not important enough for you. And you are never going to get out of it. So until you make that decision and say, I am willing to do what it takes to get out of this relationship, get out of this career, to learn more, to invest more in myself, to better myself in every way that I can, you are going to stay stuck. The last point that I want to touch on is around finding your coach, the right coach and mentor for you. It is really important if you want to move ahead in life, if you want to get out of your stuckness and grow and develop, I highly recommend that you get yourself a coach or a mentor. Coaches have coaches. If you look at the top people in their industry, up and coming people, entrepreneurs, people who are really getting out there and doing it, they have coaches because they know the value of a coach. Okay. For myself right now, I'm in a program and I've got a business coach, somebody to help me further my business, get my business up and running, getting my voice out there because I have a message to share with the world. So if you are looking to get out of your stuckness, you need to find yourself a coach or mentor, somebody who can support you and help you. Now, this is where awareness and intuition comes in. If you are drawn to a person, there is a reason for it. Pay attention. If you are drawn to a certain coach or mentor, then start looking at them. Start paying attention to what they say. Start paying attention to the products and the information that they put out there. But stay in awareness. Because sometimes we are drawn to people to show us where we need to set boundaries, rather than finding this coach and actually knowing that this is the person we need to work with. I've had a couple of clients come through and they said, I was drawn to this person and I signed up for their program, and then a week into the program, they realized that they really didn't resonate with the way this coach, this mentor, was teaching them. Now, that would have been the perfect time and opportunity for them to say, I'm sorry, but I was drawn to you, but now that I'm in your program, I realize that I actually don't resonate with you. And then they would have had to take the steps, set boundaries, ask for a refund, or step out of the program. But sometimes we get stuck in the obligation of seeing it through. Now, when that happens to you, and I had this chat with my client and I said to her, there was a reason why you were drawn to her and you went into her program, because this was one of her little things that she needed to learn. Her lessons, her opportunities for growth was around boundaries. And eventually she got it, because when she met me and she was drawn to working with me and we started chatting, we had this conversation and I helped her see that it was okay for her to say, no, this is not good for me. And she eventually stepped out of the program and she felt really empowered by doing that. So awareness and intuition can help you filter through and find out the lessons in the opportunities that are there for you. But this is something that you have to, it's a muscle. You're going to sometimes step into circumstances where you step into a coach or a healer's space and you find yourself in a position where, it doesn't feel good. That happens not as often, but use your awareness and intuition to guide you. But I want to come back to being drawn to somebody. Let's say you were drawn to work with, let's say you heard my podcast or you've seen me on Facebook, and you are drawn to work with me. There will be a reason that you are drawn to me or another coach. Okay, there is something on some level you are resonating with that coach or mentor that is going to support you in the best way possible for what you need right now. So if you find yourself drawn, step in, trust your intuition. I find there's something else that happens quite often that I've seen in like the spiritual space is people kind of coach hop or mentor hop, or even like spiritual readings, psychic readings. They'll hop from one to another, trying to find somebody to fix them or trying to find solutions on the outside instead of going to the one coach that they were drawn to, the one mentor that they were drawn to, and working with them long term. It is long-term work that is going to help you get into that rhythm, help you build trust with your coach and your mentor, and it is going to support you to grow continually, right? It's layers. This is the work. Oprah, for instance, using her as an example, she worked with her coach for over 25 years. You know how successful she is. You know the things that she's achieved. And it is because she continually worked on herself. Now, there'll be a lot of other examples out there of people coaches or people, successful people out there who have been working with their coaches for years. So finding a coach and a mentor that you can work with long term is going to support you in the best way. It is going to help you peel back the layers, get you out of your stuckness, because they can call you on your stuff. You just need to be willing to step up, take the action, invest in a coach, invest in yourself, and you will get out of your stuckness. You will get the confidence and the work through the perhaps traumas that are keeping you stuck in that relationship, or working through, your self-belief issues, the stuff that your limiting beliefs that stops you from creating this beautiful business and serving the world in an amazing way. Whatever your stuff is, you can do it alone if you wanted to, but you will have to be really dedicated. The best way and the fastest way to get out of your stuckness and to accelerate and to level up, to get ahead in life, is to find somebody who can hold you accountable. And a coach and a mentor can do that for you. And when I said fastest, it truly is. You can achieve simply in 3 months, you can achieve a lot. You can grow a lot. You can let go and reframe limiting beliefs. In 3 months, you can get ahead by using a coach. You can accelerate where it took me 30 years to work through something. Okay, 30 years to get onto like spiritual foundations and practices. It took me 30 years, like 3 decades. I teach and take my students through in 3 months, and I teach it to them. That's the benefit of having a coach. We've gone through this stuff. We know the steps. We know the shortcuts. We know the things that will help and support you get there quicker. Find a coach, find a mentor, find somebody who can support you to get out of your stuff. But it goes all the way back to the beginning, and it is a choice. You have to choose that for yourself, because nobody else can do that for you. I hope that and I say this in a loving way, but I hope that this podcast activated you in some way to look at your life and your stuckness, activated you in a way that you would go and sit down and truly look at what is keeping you in your stuckness. I hope I activated you in a way where you go, I am tired of living the way that I'm living, and I am willing to do what it takes to get out. If you've been drawn to a coach or a mentor, reach out to them and talk to them. If you've perhaps been drawn to me and my message and what you've seen on Facebook or YouTube or on the podcast or whatever, then apply to work with me. I love working. My first love is working one-on-one with people in a very close and intimate way, because we can dive deep. We can look at the things that are stopping you right now. Programs are good because it can take you through, there's a structure to it, and you know exactly what you're going to get. But when it comes to coaching and mentoring, we can work on what is happening right now for you, and that is really powerful. If you can reframe that mindset right now as it comes up, if you can look at different ways of approaching relationships, or perhaps a boss that's really hard to work with, if you can work with filtering through, or finding ways to cope, or finding ways to set boundaries for yourself in the moment, because this is what is happening right now for you, that is really powerful. And by doing that right now, stepping up for yourself right now, viewing and making changes right now, that is where the power lies, because that is the layer that you need to peel back right now in order for you to move ahead. So if you are drawn to work with me Apply. I'll put the link in the show notes for you. Apply to work with me. I only take on a very small number of people a year to work with me in a one-on-one capacity. So if you're interested, please reach out. If it's not me and it's a different coach, reach out to that coach. Do the work. Do what it takes. Do what you must. Because nobody else is going to do it for you. Love yourself enough to do the hard things. Love yourself enough to sit down and ask the hard questions. Ask yourself, how am I benefiting from this? Why am I keeping myself stuck? Because I can tell you now that there is layers upon layers upon layers of subconscious comfort zones that we have. And this is the work. This is the work. Getting activated so deeply, and then instead of running away and blaming other people for, the things that you think is their stuff, is your stuff. If you are triggered by somebody, if you were activated by somebody, 100% you have something to look at. I have never met a person, or I have never been triggered by somebody where there wasn't something in there for me. Always. I'd love to just open this up to a conversation. So if you were activated in some way or something rang true for you, drop a comment. Send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook at Coach Healer Leonie, and send me a DM. Let me know. Open up the channels of communication. If you feel like I said something and you don't agree with it, then sit with that too. Because there are truths for me and there are truths for you. And within that truth is something there for us. And I know we're not going to agree on everything, but sit with it. If you found value in this podcast, please share it with the world. I would love for you to share it with friends and family, because it will help us share the message, share the love, share the awareness around the work that we need to do in order for us to get out of our stuckness. There might be somebody out there that is so stuck and they don't know what they can do to get out there. And by sharing the podcast with friends and family, or with your community, will help get the message out there that there are simple steps that we can take. Now, they might not be so simple to implement, and it might be hard to do, but these are simple steps. And when you start implementing them in your life and you do it on a regular basis, you will find it becomes easier to take these steps. It becomes easier to work through your stuff. Remember that you have got the free resources on my webpage. The links will be in the description. Go and find those free resources, because that is the first step that you can do. And this is free. You don't have to pay for it. Okay, so if money is an issue, go and download the links for Awakening Awareness and for Intuition. And there's a few other free resources that you can get from my page that will help you start the process. Start today. Choose awareness. Choose to trust your intuition. Choose a better life. You deserve it, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for listening to the Sacred Living Podcast. If you loved the show and found value from being here, please share it with the world so we can help others on their spiritual journey. Please rate the show. It will only take a few seconds, and it will help the Sacred Living Podcast reach more beautiful souls like yourself. Let's reach 1 million people with this message that they can live their best life if they use their spirit senses, awareness and intuition. Making the world a better place starts with knowing ourselves and living guided by our soul. Stay in awareness, be open to your intuition, and live an abundant and blessed life. Until next time, beautiful soul. If you're new to the spiritual path or looking to deepen your spiritual practices, Sacred Beginnings is the perfect place to start. Launching again in January 25, this transformative 12-week program is designed to help you build strong foundations that will support your growth and awakening for years to come. In Sacred Beginnings, you'll embark on a journey through essential spiritual teachings and practices that focuses on the two most important senses, awareness and intuition. These senses are at the core of everything that I teach because they are the keys to truly unlocking your spiritual potential. Explore topics like awareness, intuition, grounding, clearing, psychic abilities, chakras, crystals, past life regression, awakening abundance, and so much more. Each module is thoughtfully crafted to guide you step by step on your sacred path, providing you with the tools and knowledge needed to awaken your spirit, heal old wounds, and grow into your true potential. Where the world talks about manifesting, we focus on awakening abundance. Yes, we use similar steps, but our emphasis on awareness and intuition is what truly makes the difference. This missing link will empower you to tap into the real power of manifesting. With live sessions, guided practices, a supportive community, and the opportunity for personal coaching, you'll experience deep transformation in a nurturing and sacred environment. Don't miss your chance to be part of this powerful experience. Go to sacredlivingacademy.com and join the priority list to be the first to know when we open the doors to Sacred Beginnings. Or simply click the link in the show notes. Your sacred journey awaits. Get ready to step into a new chapter of spiritual growth and empowerment.